Hi everyone, so welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about abandoned buildings in Abuja. Yes, I have always wanted, this particular topic is really exciting for me. I have asked a lot of questions. At some point I wanted to go out of my way to make videos about abandoned buildings within the city. Oh my god, there's so many of them. So I found out that one of the leading causes of abandoning buildings here in Abuja is funding. Now, real estate developers most of the times do not get funding as they're supposed to. Exactly. So hence the reason why people started doing off-plan payments and all that to help themselves push and complete the projects that they had already started. So funding is a huge problem. Other than that, there's another one, disagreements. JV disagreements, JV is joint venture, you get. So sometimes developers go to these landowners and tell them, okay, yeah, I want to develop your land and this is what I'm going to give you, they talk about sharing formula and the rest of the likes. Now that makes sense, but most of the times developers oversell themselves, you get. They overpromise. They tell you, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to, how massive they want to make the project and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they don't really deliver on that. So those projects get halted because it is not their fault too, entirely. It's the funding thing, still part of the funding problem. So that's about it. It's not very juicy on any end at all. So funding is a huge problem. Nigerian banks do not really like funding real estate in the country, and investment banks as well. They do not really like funding projects here in Nigeria, and I can't tell well anyway. So number two cause has to be relocation. I'm going to share a story with you that I heard while trying to gather information for this particular video. So I heard of a certain family, the person who owned the house, he's deceased now. He's deceased now. So he owned the house. He owned a couple of houses in Abuja, and he just died. And his children that were abroad refused to come back home. You get. So the only person he had that was living with him in Nigeria was just his security, because his wife too was abroad. She didn't really want to come to Nigeria to do things and all of that stuff, get involved with Nigerian stuff. So he just left everything and they just stayed there. So for 12 years before this story was being told, I think it was after 12 years the story was being told, the security guy rented the apartments, like the house, the family house that the deceased had. He started renting it out. So he had people come in. There was like a 3-bedroom flat upstairs. It's a duplex, but then he found a way to make it work. 3-bedroom flat upstairs, and on the ground floor he started renting them out as self-contained and all that stuff. It worked. And apparently he knew about some of his Oga's property in 12 other locations, so making it 13 houses. So he kept on doing the same thing, and right now he's not just security anymore. Did he do the right thing? No. But did his children, the deceased children and wife, do the right thing? No. Because I think everyone's joy is, I am working hard so that the next generation wouldn't have to stress so much, you understand? And for some reason, you would expect of them to take care of the properties that you have left aside and the things you've accumulated over time, because that is your work, that is the result of your work, that's the result of every energy you put into specificity. So you're really like, you just know that, okay, you're trying so hard so that these people can have a good life. And at the end of the day, it's not really like that, because they're not really interested in the things that you have. But anyway, that's the story I heard, and it was quite intriguing, really intriguing. Okay, and the third reason why people abandon their buildings has to be crime. Now, there's this particular property somewhere at Life Camp. I think they had about 13 units of 4-bedroom terrace within that mini estate. It belonged to someone, and the person for some reason committed some economic crime and all that stuff. So EFCC locked down the place and all. So I personally know the house for like 6 years, or maybe 5, yeah. But I was told that the house has been there for like 8 years. Exactly. So in all 8 years, this house has been like that. Nobody's living there, nothing is happening. Like the whole place, the building is dilapidating. So, you know, it's just part of these things. Crime is a huge problem in our society, a huge problem. Now look at that. That house could have been out there, like it could have been for rent. People could have bought the house. They could have been living in there and all that. But it was seized and nothing happened there for so long. The house just kept on dilapidating. When I went to see the compound, like it was all messy and bad. I mean, if you go into the house, you would notice that a lot of things are not as they're supposed to be, because no one is tending to the house. Yeah. So that's another reason why people do not, I'm sorry, that's one of the reasons why people abandon buildings within Abuja. And the very last reason that I'm going to share with you today is overpricing. That's a very huge problem. Now, you can actually, okay, I'm not going to mention the name of the estate, but there is an estate in Kado that I knew in 2021. Now, 2021, I knew this estate and it was selling for 500 million. I'm telling you, at 2020, far back 2021 till 2026, they've still not sold out because the estate was so pricey. And you know, there's some kind of houses in 2021, 500 million naira is around maybe 2 billion naira now because of the inflation, if you calculate it and all that. So at that time, that house was not even worth that amount of money. And there was a lot of things going on with it. It's not modern designs, it was just shabbily developed. But, you know, they overpriced it and it stayed for so long. You know, people make sentences and they say, I'm not feeding the house, so I don't really have an obligation to it. No, there's no point, just leave it there. I'm going to get it, you know. Yeah. And even some rental properties have been in the market for a long time because they are overpriced. I'm also, like, I rent properties, so I understand this thing. Like, some of them have been in the market for a very long time. I've seen a whole lot of houses in the market for sale for years. Since I started real estate, I know a certain house that have not been sold. Like, it has been there for all these years. It has been there. Rental properties too, it happens sometimes. So that's the problem. That's a very big leading cause of abandoning buildings, you get. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you another time. Stick around, as I'll be sharing a lot of other videos with you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please do well to like, subscribe, and also share. Bye.